Why did no one tell me that breaking up with someone who hasn't necessarily done anything wrong to you is literally the hardest thing in the world?
How do you break up with people who haven't done anything wrong? Hello, my name is Matthew Pfeiffer. I'm a therapist, coach, author. And on this video, we're going to break down a viral TikTok video where a woman asks this question. And I'm going to talk about the reasons why this is actually a good problem to have. Let's watch this next video together. Let's break it down. I'll give you my thoughts after.
Why did no one tell me that breaking up with someone who hasn't necessarily done anything wrong to you is literally the hardest thing in the world? Because I just broke up with my boyfriend of 5 years because I just feel like we're not on the same page anymore. And honestly, like I would never make a video like this, but I genuinely feel like this is such a finalized decision. And I did this like maybe like almost 2 weeks ago now, but like I just know that this is such a final decision and I'm never going to go back, that I feel like I am safe enough to talk about it. So we've been dating for 5 years, and honestly, I have nothing but good things to say about him. But obviously, we had our trials and tribulations throughout the relationship because, again, we were together for 5 years. But during the 5 years that we were together, when we first started dating, we both started in the same place. So it naturally, like, I don't know, like we were having fun. It was a lot of fun. But like within 5 years, I grew so much. And I don't want to say he didn't grow at all, but he just hasn't really progressed as far as I have in the 5 years that I have. And it's not because he's not capable of doing and moving fast, but it's because he doesn't apply himself to the fullest. And I just feel like, coming from an immigrant background, I just feel like I would be doing my parents such a disservice to really commit my life to someone who does not apply themselves 110%. And honestly, I sat on this decision for so long. I'm like going back and forth between, do I stay with him? Do I not? Like he's still such a kind person and like I can see that potential, but it comes to a point that like when is potential not going to be enough? How long can you rely on potential? Cuz eventually potential is not going to be enough.
I hear this question from people I work with all the time. How do I break up with people who haven't done anything wrong? Or how do I break up with someone that's so nice? Now, the reality of it is that there's a reason for the breakup, and she mentioned it, right? That he has a lot of potential, and they essentially, in so many words, she feels like they've grown apart. That her life is heading in one direction. They started out in the same place, and his life is kind of heading in another direction. So there's a reason for the breakup, and the problem in this situation is that, and I'm gonna mention social media, is that there's so often people talk about breakups in terms of toxic relationships, that there always has to be like something happening, right? That there always has to be some egregious thing that's happened, that someone has cheated on someone, that someone is abusive, that someone is manipulative. But the reality of it is that there are what I would consider kind of like a healthy breakup, where maybe both people are good people, they're just not aligned. Maybe it's just not a good fit. Maybe like in this situation, they've grown apart. And in those situations, the reason why I mentioned in the intro that these are a good problem to have is that you know that you're at least in the right direction of life partner if you are looking at getting married. That you are choosing high quality character people, right? So it sounds like this person has good high quality character, but they're just not aligned. So in a situation where you are trying to break up with someone who, quote, hasn't done anything wrong, they haven't cheated, they're not manipulative, they're not narcissistic or anything like that. Number one, you thank them, right? Thank you for the last 5 years. Thank you for the last 3 months if it's someone that you have just recently started dating. And show them appreciation for the time that you spent together. Let them know how memorable, whatever, right? I'm always going to remember, the video games we played or the times we went to the sporting events or whatever. And I appreciate how well you've treated. But at the same time, this isn't the relationship for me. Now, here's the problem that a lot of people in these type of situations have is that the the term quote friendship is always going to come up, right? People are always going to say, well, let's just be friends. And the reality of it is that even though you're not creating an enemy, no, we're not going to be friends. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying that this is something that you literally have to say to this person, but the reality of it is that if you're breaking up with this person, you're breaking up with them for a reason. And the problem with holding on to this person as a friend is that A, you could be leading them on, B, you could be leading yourself on. And keeping this person attached as a friend, the reality of it is that you guys already had romantic inclinations. And the likelihood of one or both people struggling to move on, don't forget, we're breaking up for a reason, right? We want to find the right partner, and eventually you're going to want to move on. Eventually they're going to want and need to move on. And if you're still attached to exes, especially in a situation like this, where you've been with this person for 5 years, there's history there, the likelihood of this becoming a problem in future relationships is highly, highly likely. Right? All of a sudden, this person who's really an ex, not a friend, it's an ex, continuing to reach out, continuing to message while you're on dates. Who are you seeing? And now all of a sudden, this old relationship that was actually, I would say, healthy now becomes problematic and toxic in future relationships. So it's important to set those boundaries early and often. And again, we're not enemies, right? But we're also not necessarily friends. So we're not going to be communicating on a regular basis. But if I see you out, I'll wave, I'll say hi. We're not enemies. We're not problematic. We're not against each other. I'm going to root for you. I hope you find your partner. I'm going to be looking for mine. But at the same time, we're not going to continue communication the way that we have been. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you have a question for me, or if you want to work with me one-on-one, if you go into the links in the description box down below, I'll have links available for you to book a one-on-one coaching call. Or if you are not ready for a one-on-one coaching call, you can actually just email a question for me and I'll answer a question for you right here in one of these videos. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you're notified each and every time I upload a video. Thank you very much for checking out the video, and I will see you in the next episode. You guys have a good one.